Thank you for enrolling in our webinar today to become informed about the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile. I am so happy you joined us today. Today, I'm introducing you to the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile. This is a 360 group assessment that meant 4 years of vigorous testing and validation before I used it myself as founder of the Tiger Six Principles. The profile takes the guesswork out of work culture change, talent retention, and employee as stakeholder improvements. The Tiger's workforce behavioral profile is now available for business owners and leaders with business transformation goals, especially in resolving issues around talent retention. I will dive into this more in detail in a few minutes. From the 50,000-foot level, the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile gives business owners, human resource executives, HR business partners, operations executives, and project managers the root cause behavior intelligence needed to refine work culture to be more collaborative and employee empowering. The profile also monitors change during the 3 to 5 years it takes to normalize transformational change. This makes change sensible. Other side benefits that frequently emerge naturally when your group process behaviors improve are improved talent retention, employee engagement, and the transference of soft skill training to improved skills and attitudes for measurable financial and human performance impacts. In our agenda today, I'm covering 3 topics. The first is how the assessment came about and who benefits most. The second is what the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile measures and how its construction furthers group improvement goals over time. And the third is why this matters in our complex and rapidly changing world of business today. Then I will be sharing how you can take action on what you learned today. So let's get going. So, how did the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile come about? In 1987, and for those of you who did not live through this time period, interest rates on a home loan were 18.5% interest. You can only imagine what these rates did to companies in need of cash and what such high interest rates did to growth through many different industries. And it was also a dark time for employees who came to work. Let's say on a Friday morning, were asked to come to an HR meeting, were handed pink slips announcing that they had been laid off, and then were watched by security guards as they packed up their things and then were escorted out of the building. They were blindsided. How people treat each other in the workplace has an impact on whether people enjoy working there or decide to check out or leave it. This has become an existential threat for CEOs who are questioning whether their organization will be viable in the next 10 years. And I will share more about this later. This employee blindsiding experience left me with a profound question. That question was, what is required to build an ethical, quality-focused, productive, collaborative, engaged, and loyal group of working people? I pursued this question by studying all the group dynamic research I could find in psychology, education, and business. Out of this study, 6 principles emerged. They are trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk resolution, and success. They form the acronym TIGERS. Then the next question was whether these six principles could be individually measured in group behavior or were just clumped together in theory as something nice to have, but too subjective for any real meaning. So I wrote a survey from research findings and teamed with a psychology professor at Gonzaga University with considerable experience with survey design. What we discovered in the first validation study was that the six principles could be isolated individually in group behavior. After submitting the results for psych review, we were asked whether we could get similar results in another validation study. This time, the Washington State Education Association stepped forward to evaluate the survey. Union officials wanted to know on a school building by building basis what in service training was most needed by teachers who were going to be required to work with other teachers in developing collaborative learning curriculums. Education was also experiencing a structural change from centralized decision making to building site council decision making. This was a complete educational transformation for Washington State. This collaborative approach to teaching then extended out to millennials, who were the first age group to benefit from this new system with graded team projects. Projects like these prepared them for teamwork and collaboration in today's workplace. This is carried forward in both the Gen Z age group and the Alpha age group. So, collaboration in a supportive work environment is an expectation of these age groups. In some ways, it has been like two worlds colliding. One world offers more collaborative operations, and the other is top down command and control. And I will speak more about this later. The Washington Education Association found that not only could the six principles be individually measured in group performance, the profile was also predictive and prescriptive for group improvement purposes. Fast forward to today. After using the survey in post merger work, in building cross functional teams for complex organizational problem solving, and change management, and for project management purposes, the survey is now available. In organizations, the TIGERS workforce behavioral profile can be beneficial in several ways. The first is for department collaborations and minimizing silos. When competition exists between department managers who must compete for limited resources, silos form and inefficiencies develop that often result in waste and rework. The assessment helps you track change over time from internally competitive operations to more collaborative and mutually beneficial operations. Outcomes include potentially substantial cost savings and productivity improvements, along with more engaged and satisfied employees. The second is improved communication. Communication is an important group process. Understanding how behavior impacts communication ultimately helps improve communication among team members when communication skill training is also available. And for those of you who have either built or purchased communication training programs, the Tiger Six principles are highly synergistic with communication improvement. The third is improved conflict resolution, another important group process. Assessment results help leaders identify potential areas of conflict and address them proactively. And if you deliver conflict resolution training at work, again, the Tiger Six principles are synergistic with your proven training. Next is targeted training and development. The profile highlights areas where team members may need additional support or training. You can deliver the training and then determine through the survey system design that I will describe in a few minutes whether your training produces improvements in employee skills and attitudes and what that means for your bottom line. Next is for strategic correction. Profile insights help you strategically correct team and work community areas of behavior weakness. Overall, the Tigers Workforce Behavioral Profile is a versatile assessment that can support the development and optimization of collaborative performance across various levels of an organization. So, what does the Tigers Workforce Behavioral Profile measure? And how does its construction further your goals over time? Earlier, I discussed how the six principles emerged from psychology, education, and business group dynamic research. The principles, again, are trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk resolution, and success. These six principles shorten the time new teams spend in conflict and confusion, and they present themselves in group behavior, either by their inclusion or omission. So, if trust is low, for example, you can expect certain outcomes. And if it is high, you can also expect certain outcomes, such as more team productivity, human connection, harmony, and resilience. Behavior and the group norms that support it are important to all levels of an organization, especially the three cornerstones of a work community. The three cornerstone functions of a work community are roles, goals, and relationships. So, if the quality of empathy is low, for example, how management and employee roles succeed, goals are achieved, and relationships form are all impacted. This is important to whether employees feel heard, understood, and appreciated. The bottom line is that behaviors that anchor trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk resolution, and success in how employees work together influence how these core functions succeed. When we are looking at behavior improvements that result in reduced talent turnover or improved employee engagement, we also know that improvement doesn't happen overnight. So, when the survey was being programmed and based on my experience in change management, I had it programmed for tracking change over time. Next, the platform runs the survey as a third party provider. No software needs to be downloaded. Also, no individual survey response can be seen. This is important for employee psychological safety and for obtaining more reliable employee opinions. Only the collective group response is available to view when 60% or more of the surveys are returned to ensure employee psychological safety is observed. The only time an individual can be identified is if they have not returned their response. And this is so that reminders can be sent out. Because response anonymity is important for reliability, the minimum group size that a survey will be run for is 8 people. Statistically, this reduces the potential for retaliation. Again, employee psychological safety and the most reliable results are the goal. Next, the scoring is simple and based on a Likert scale of strongly agree, agree, undecided, disagree, and strongly disagree. This way, the report identifies what employees are most passionate about. We also built the Tigers Workforce Behavioral Profile online assessment with two options. The first is for small companies or larger departments. The second is for larger organizations with multiple departments. The assessment provides a comprehensive culture and department reports. If turnover is a problem for a department, you receive a strategic behavior view of why that is. So, what differentiates the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile from other team surveys? First is a branding option. The platform runs a comprehensive report. This is copyrighted. Then you have the option to brand the survey to your organization after the report is run. So the survey cover and your own introduction are branding options. Second, the profile does not look for personality types that might be missing on a team. We do not look for dysfunctions. We report on the quality of trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk resolution, and success in work group behavior that illuminates your group's strengths and opportunities for improvement. Next, opportunities for improvement don't resolve overnight. So we coded the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile to track improvement over time. Since transformational change can take 3 to 5 years to normalize, we programmed the profile with this reality in mind. Therefore, I want you to think about the Tiger's workforce behavioral profile assessment like a bucket. Inside each bucket are 3 surveys that we call iterations for the same group. The fee structures for the 3 iterations you have in your bucket is the same or less than other team surveys that offer you only one run at a time and with no comparison. You receive a benchmark survey for targeting improvements and 2 comparison surveys to gauge the success of your interventions on behavior improvement, to track progress, and to illuminate your next steps. This means you have the opportunity to track improvement and change over time in a very sensible way. Next, between your survey runs and interventions, members might be transferred to other departments, or new team members might join your department or team. So the survey was constructed to easily add or subtract members, and you will see how the loss or addition of team members impacts your team dynamic when behavior onboarding of team members isn't taken into consideration. Another advantage of the profile is that when you are able to track your group process and soft skill improvements over time against your profit and loss statement and other balanced scorecard trends, you can correlate return on investment for the interventions you conduct. This is important for the executive team to recognize improvement during transformation. This builds change confidence, resilience, accountability, and perseverance during times of change stress. And let me give you an example of this. The operations manager of an organization was skeptical that leadership soft skill training would make a difference in the organization. The vice president of HR was intrigued, as was the chief financial officer. After identifying where improvements could show up in the organization's profit and loss statement and balanced scorecard tracking, the greatest cost savings occurred in operations, specifically in risk management. Improved leadership soft skills resulted in fewer employee accidents, OSHA reporting, and missed days due to healing and recuperation. It seems that when employees are treated better and are spoken to respectfully and with greater skill, they get hurt less because they are less upset and distracted from what they are doing. When it came to finances, insurance rates came way down. HR experienced less turnover, fewer sick days, and overtime expenses, and the chief financial officer was happy. He had a way to track leadership skill improvement on productivity improvements and cost savings in the organization's bottom line. The question on your mind might be, what is the investment? I mentioned that an assessment is like a bucket with three iterations in it for the same group. So you can compare improvement over time. The smaller assessment for a department with more than 8 people or a small company is $25 per iteration per employee. The larger comprehensive culture and department assessment is $50 per iteration per employee. This means you invest once and upfront at $75 per person for a small survey and $150 per person for the larger culture and department survey. We invoice you based on the type of survey and the number of participants you are assessing. But there is something else I am offering in this introduction to the Tigers Workforce Behavioral Profile. It is ultimately supportive for you in achieving your goals. We are including a complimentary Tiger's Six Principles Leadership Essentials course for one of your managers or for you as a business owner. So you receive a deep understanding of the Tiger's Six Principles and behaviors that are beneficial for how managers build connections with the employees they supervise. The course is designed with three coaching conversations, and participants often correct workforce problems within the course design. Your enrollment in the course is for 90 days and is available on demand to accommodate your work schedule. There's also SHRM continuing education credit available too, if this is important to your organization. In this course, you receive the book Tigers Among Us, Winning Business Team Cultures and Why They Thrive, and a complimentary guide with the book that teaches you how to engage employees with Tiger's Six Principles conversations. One Tiger's Six Principles licensed consultant said, "When I delivered these resources to a nonprofit collaborative, it created a powerful team building experience. It provided increased accountability from the members, and I used the Tigers Among Us book as an opportunity for growth and connectedness. It delivered, however, far more value than expected." This course is always available to you for $995 per manager. However, if you decide the Tigers Workforce Behavioral Profile could be helpful to your workforce development or transformation goals, it is complimentary with your first assessment purchase, which you can have us run at any time. The course also includes video case studies, coaching handouts, downloadable video transcription, audio files for learning when you are on the go, and quizzes that help you with your own development plan and for helping you with training retention. So the total value is either $75 per person or $150 per person, depending on the assessment that makes the most sense for you, and a complimentary leadership course that helps you build connections with employees and refines how your team members work together with a much deeper understanding of how the Tiger Six Principles benefit you. Personally, I would love to help you succeed with your goals. So now I want to discuss our final topic. Human diversity is a substantial asset that enhances innovation, decision making, and market competitiveness. Diverse teams bring a multitude of perspectives that foster creative solutions that drive innovation and innovative problem solving. By incorporating a wide range of human experiences and viewpoints, organizations are better equipped to understand and meet the needs of a diverse customer base, therefore expanding their reach and impact. This makes it even more important to check the quality levels of trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk resolution, and success in workplace behavior. This is because diversity also requires a more collective understanding and accountability for behaviors that improve trust, interdependence, genuineness, empathy, risk resolution, and success. This way, we can rely on the personal strengths people bring to the workplace. And there are two independent studies that support this. The first is a study by PricewaterhouseCoopers. PwC found that existential threats such as climate change, supply disruptions, and talent turnover are causing many organizations to reinvent themselves. 12 months ago, they reported that nearly 40% of global CEOs believe their companies would no longer be viable in 10 years' time if they continue on their current path. These leaders concluded that they must be more transformative in their approach if their organization is to thrive. In their 27th annual Global CEO report, PwC found that leaders are already taking some steps toward reinvention. Other key findings include the following, and I'm quoting from their report. The impetus to reinvent is intensifying. CEOs expect more threats over the next 3 years than they experienced over the previous five, from technology, climate change, and nearly every other megatrend affecting global business. Small company chief executives are more likely than their larger company counterparts to recognize their company's viability threats. CEOs perceive enormous inefficiencies, everything from decision-making meetings to emails, viewing roughly 40% of the time spent on these tasks as inefficient, end quote. Basically, the stakes are high and transformational change is occurring now. And this is measurable using the TIGERS workforce behavioral profile with the three iterations for one assessment package that tracks change over time while removing the guesswork of where to start. The second study is from Harvard. Harvard's 2023 Global Leadership Development Study also emphasized that leadership development has always been about preparing leaders for future challenges. What's becoming less certain is what exactly those challenges will be. So there is some common ground around existential threats. Harvard's report, however, goes further. It emphasizes the need to humanize leadership in the digital age, and quoting from their report, while the focus on technology grows, leaders still lead people, and many are uncomfortable with the expectations their teams now have of them. This means elevating their interpersonal skills to better connect and coach team members as people. End quote. Harvard's report also emphasizes the importance of empathy, but only half of the employees who responded to their survey said they experienced empathy from their manager. In addition to empathy and listening, social and emotional intelligence and managing conflict were also recognized as important for effective human-centered leadership. The study further emphasized that employees now expect real diversity that I was speaking about previously. This inclusive work environment is much more than just race and gender. They found that Millennial and Gen Z employees want to bring their whole selves to work and for the organization to leverage their strengths to make their organization better. The TIGERS Workforce Behavioral Profile measures it and tracks change over time. Benefits include cost savings and productivity improvements in an organization's bottom line. So, to summarize what I shared today, the origin of the TIGERS Workforce Behavioral Profile emerged from the question, what is required to build an ethical, quality-focused, productive, collaborative, engaged, and loyal group of working people? The survey emerged from a study of psychology, business, and education group dynamic research. The assessment took 4 years to validate as reliable. I also discussed how the survey is constructed. and that it operates as a neutral third party that does not identify individual participant responses for employee psychological safety and for enhanced reliability. I also discussed how the minimum group size is 8 people to ensure employee anonymity. We also explored how so many business owners and CEOs are deeply concerned about the existential threats that are facing business sustainability into the future. At Tigers, we are more than happy to explore your ideas with you. So reach out to us. I want to thank you for joining today's introduction to the Tigers Workforce Behavioral Profile. If you're ready to improve how your employees cooperate and drive meaningful change within your organization, we invite you to take the next step. Schedule a personalized consultation with one of our experts. Thanks again for your interest. Have a wonderful day.